我对物质可能看的不是那么重，我觉得我的底线就是他在北京能付个首付。
就是你对女孩子的学校有要求吗
？98511。
A 34-year-old Peking University graduate earning $1 million a year went on a blind date, openly stating he wanted to find an 18-year-old junior who was both beautiful and interesting. Though he admitted his looks were average and his height wasn't impressive, the confidence his ex-girlfriend gave him has carried him through to this day.
我比较喜欢有一点文艺气质的女孩，还会喜欢稍微有英气一点的女生。然后我还希望她比较有趣，因为我之前有经历过那种特别有趣的女孩。
He originally thought his education and income could outshine 99% of the guys out there, until he learned that his unforgettable ex-girlfriend had married a divorced man with 5 properties. Only then did he start reflecting on his own shortcomings.
也是个北京人，二婚的，家里头4、5套房，他妈年轻的时候给买的。现在升值了好多倍，自己在想办法努力找钱呗。
This disheartened man, named Shook, has been single for 5 years. Despite having a stable job and owning 2 properties in Beijing, he feels his advantages are insignificant in a talent-packed city like this. On the contrary, at his age, girls' expectations of him have only grown higher. A few years ago, he didn't dare date because he lacked financial stability. Now that he's finally built something up, his age seems to have erased it all.
比上不足，比下有余，然后我又眼睛一直往上瞅一瞅，所以说就不要了。
After years of holding out, he still refuses to settle. With the risk of staying single looming larger, Shook turned to a matchmaker for help. Upon hearing his unconventional demands, the matchmaker couldn't help but question him.
又漂亮，又有学识，又有见识，生命非常丰富饱满，然后又有一个很好的性格，这样的一个女孩子，你有没有想过她们对男生的要求是什么样子？
A soul that's interesting? Either the pretty girls lack education, or the smart, capable ones aren't young anymore. A girl's most precious assets are her mind and her youth, and you want both without compromise. Seeing Shook unwilling to lower his standards, the matchmaker reluctantly agreed to try. After scouring the database, she finally found a suitable girl for him.
30岁的星星是个标准的北京大妞，性格开朗，家境优渥，唯一的条件就是门当户对。
在北京有2套房，然后我们这边有2辆车。
Hearing this, the matchmaker gained some confidence and immediately recommended Shook to her. But when Xingxing, a self-proclaimed academic underachiever, heard he was a top graduate from Peking University, she instantly felt a pang of insecurity.
就是我这辈子都不想跟学习好的人做同桌，他们坐在我旁边，就让我每天压力都很大。
Soon, the two met for the first time. Looking at the stunning girl in front of him, Shook could hardly believe she was 30. To him, meeting someone of her caliber through a blind date felt rarer than winning the lottery. Naturally, he asked why she was still single.
是你的那些被 pass 了是吗？
没有人追我呀，谁来追我呀？我的妈呀！
或者是你对男性的兴趣没那么大？
也没准吧，可能小的时候就是没有什么感觉，就感觉他们可能和女生差不多。
那你现在对男性有兴趣吗？
有。
是吗？
Xingxing candidly admitted she'd spent years focused on eating, drinking, and having fun, neglecting relationships with the opposite sex. Relieved to confirm she was indeed into men, Shook relaxed. Their conversation flowed from their upbringings to the universe, space, and aliens. Shared perspectives gave them an instant sense of connection, as if they'd met too late in life.
如果有2个孩子，一个跟男生的姓，一个跟女生姓，我是不是觉得完全是可以的？而且我觉得这样也很公平，很公平。
Xingxing's bubbly personality rekindled a long-lost spark in Shook, and she didn't mind his serious, scholarly demeanor either. They spent some happy times together. Just as the matchmaker began anticipating a promising outcome, one date shattered the harmony. Shook casually mentioned that the mother of his future children must be both talented and beautiful.
你要长久，肯定是要找个有脑子的女生。
就是又好看，还要有脑。
This requirement stunned Xingxing. Shook explained that in today's society, average-looking girls are at a disadvantage. Whether in making friends or acing interviews, beauty always offers an edge. People tend to be more forgiving toward attractive women, he argued, and in relationships, high emotional intelligence reduces conflict. To him, only a partner with both qualities could be ideal.
就这么几个漂亮小姑娘进来，人家就会这么聊天啊。
可是你不觉得这样的聊天非常的不健康吗？就这个其实非常不尊重别人。
但是确确实实就发生在生活里头呀。
Xingxing found Shuk's reasoning absurd. She couldn't accept such gender judgment. To her, we can't control how we look, and relationships and careers should at least be built on mutual respect. Yet Shuk not only held these as standards but also seemed to tie happiness solely to material things.
那你还会跟他进？我觉得可能不太会了，就是我觉得我可能也做不到带一个人走进这样的状态里。
In the end, self-interest and idealism couldn't find common ground. Some relationships falter over material conditions, others pause at clashing worldviews. Perhaps there's no such thing as two perfectly matched people after all.
I might just be the kind of person my parents would call someone who doesn't recognize their own kin. Ever since I started working, I've barely had any contact with relatives back home. Honestly, if it weren't for the Lunar New Year, I probably wouldn't even bother going back. I feel like I'm just naturally a cold and detached person. To me, those so-called relatives nowadays are nothing more than people I happen to know who share a bit of blood relation. All they do is make snide remarks that leave me feeling uncomfortable or gossip behind my back about how I should live my life. They mock the poor and envy the rich. Aren't these the very same relatives we're talking about? On the surface, they preach to you under the guise of it's for your own good. But in reality, everything's a competition. Comparing jobs, salaries, marriages, kids. I really want to say, what does my life have to do with them? I finally get a break, and during holidays like New Year, all I want is to relax and rest properly. But no, I'm forced to spend it with these people I'm tied to just because of some faint blood connection. Sometimes I think a stranger would be better. At least they'd be polite and courteous. But some of these relatives, they just lean on their status as elders or kin to pry into your private life, asking a ton of questions you don't even want to answer. Honestly, one of the reasons I chose to work in the city is to avoid maintaining those hypocritical ties back home. If it weren't for my parents, I'd probably have cut them off long ago. Every family has its own struggles, and the older I get, the more I feel it deeply.
In the frame, this girl completely loses it. I'm probably the ungrateful jerk my parents think doesn't give a damn about family. After striking out on her own, relatives in her eyes are just bloodsuckers with a DNA connection. Skipping Chinese New Year isn't an option, she'd never hear the end of it, but going back? Oh, it's a nightmare. Snide remarks about her boyfriend, endless comparisons of salaries and partners. She grits her teeth and says, mocking the poor, resenting the rich. That's the face these relatives wear, right? Haven't you seen this drama play out too? You claw your way to some success, hoping for a breather, only to have the elders swarm in, grilling you about your paycheck, when you're tying the knot, or popping out kids. That's why she bolted to the city for work, to dodge those fake smiles at the hometown dinner table. But her parents' expectations? They're like chains, yanking her back no matter how hard she pulls away. What the hell does my life have to do with them? She snaps. Does that hit you in the gut? Ever feel like you're busting your ass, but nobody's impressed anyway? So, what's her deal? How's she holding up?
I'm a single woman in my mid-30s, what you'd call an older leftover gal. Today, I'm stepping back and looking at this whole older single woman thing from a totally neutral perspective. If you really pay attention to the single women around you in their 30s or beyond, you'll notice something. More often than not, they've got a bit of a romantic streak. A lover's brain, if you will. Why do I say that? When they're looking for a partner, they don't focus much on practical stuff. They're not checking out how good the guy's family background is, or how handsome he looks, or even how emotionally stable he might be. Nope, they're all about the vibe. The feeling. Family, you get what I'm saying, this feeling. How do you even measure that? That's the thing with this romantic mindset, right? It's all about chasing that spark, that intangible something.
She's a 35 or 36-year-old single woman, what you'd call an older leftover gal, standing in front of the camera today, striking this fake neutral observer pose while she picks apart the stories of her single gal pals. The hilarious part? She lets slip a truth, Every one of these women's got a case of romantic brain syndrome. Thinks she's scoping out guys based on their fat wallets, killer looks, or whether they can keep it together instead of exploding like a loose cannon. Get real! She says it's all about one thing, the feeling. Yep, that vague, airy-fairy vibe she can't even put into words herself. Your bank balance? Doesn't mean squat. Your face? Who gives a damn? Your steady personality? She's not even remotely interested. Folks, these women are out there filtering guys with this bizarre gut instinct, tossing you aside like it's a game. Doesn't that just tick you off?
Today, I met a woman born in '84, divorced, with a son, living in Wuhan. No house, no car, pulling in about 70 to 80K a year. She thinks her situation's pretty decent, so she's got some demands for a guy. He's gotta be easy on the eyes, have at least a bachelor's degree, and make no less than 300K a year. Oh, but if he's raking in over $1 million, she's willing to drop the education bar to a junior college diploma. Plus, he's gotta be around 40, anyone more than 5 years older is a no-go. Hearing all this, I could tell she was just swinging by during the new year to drop her wish list on me. So I hit her with a question, a guy who checks all these boxes, why would he pick you? And man, she didn't even flinch, total confidence. She goes, sure, I'm in my early 40s, but I could pass for 30 any day. Plus, I've got marriage experience under my belt. I know how to care for a man, not like those young girls who just whine and throw tantrums. Then she tacks on another demand, no never married guys. She reckons any man still single at this age must be a loser. If he's divorced, though? No kids allowed. I point out, wait, don't you have a kid? Isn't that a bit of a double standard? She brushes it off, saying she's been married before and could still have more kids, his baggage isn't needed. Oh, and if he's willing to bankroll her son's upbringing, she'd even let the kid take his last name. Before I could get a word in, she's already daydreaming about her next marriage. It's just a second wedding, she says, so I won't ask for a big dowry, 200K will do, just to keep it symbolic. No need for a huge ceremony either, just book a 5-star hotel, invite 20 or 30 tables, something to show off a little. After we tie the knot, I'll quit my job, and he can hand over the household finances to me, no worries. I'm sitting there, listening to her spiral further into Fantasyland, and I had to cut her off. Hold up, you haven't even met the guy, and you're already dreaming? Your situation? It's not exactly great. Honestly, it's kinda shaky. You're not young anymore, looking youthful doesn't mean much. You can't compete with the 20-somethings. Where's all this confidence coming from, thinking some top-tier guy's gonna show up and raise your kid for you? She wasn't having it. She fires back, tons of divorced women with kids around me have landed great second marriages. I'm no worse than them, why can't I pull it off? She's like talking to a brick wall. Finally, I gave her one piece of advice, marriage is about compatibility and mutual effort, not just banking on a pretty face to throw out wild demands. You're not exactly in your prime anymore, whatever charm you've got left won't last forever. Asking for the moon? That's a long shot. But after all that, she didn't hear a word I said. In the end, I had no choice but to show her the door. What do you all think? Does she stand a chance of finding this guy?
He told a wild story. A divorced woman in her 40s with a kid, making less than 20,000 yuan a year, no house, no car, but demanding a guy with a 300,000 yuan salary, good looks, a bachelor's degree, and an age right around 40. A millionaire? She'd reluctantly say yes, but a rich guy with just a junior college degree wouldn't do, unless he had no baggage. She bragged about looking 30, and claimed tons of experience, then demanded a 200,000 yuan dowry, a 5-star wedding, and a cozy life managing the money after marriage. Oh, and the guy should pay for her son's upbringing, even change the kid's last name. He sneered and said this dream's wilder than a Hollywood movie, but reality isn't her fancy party. Who's footing the bill? She didn't flinch, totally sure she could rule the dating scene. That confidence makes you want to clap, somewhere private though. What's the ending? Hang on, the best part's coming up, don't miss it!
A married person's heartbreak is like a cold during the pandemic, can't make a fuss about it, just gotta tough it out. How many guys out there have fallen for the wrong person? Fell hard for a woman who's already got a family, what do you even do with that? At first, you thought you'd just mess around, have some fun, right? But then, bam, you played yourself right into a trap, and now you're stuck, aren't you? Every night, lying in bed, you're thinking, maybe she loves me. But she hasn't left. She says she'll divorce, sure, when the kid's older. Thing is, you haven't seen her lift a finger to make that happen. She doesn't stand up for you, doesn't give you a damn thing, except the honor of swallowing your pride and playing the side piece. Let me break the truth to you, your love. It's a one-way street. She's not in this for real. To her, you're just a little spice outside her marriage. Sure, you've done things couples do, but you're not a couple, not even close. She sweet talks you out there, keeps you smiling, then heads home to sweet talk her husband, her kids, all on the condition that you don't mess with her cozy little family. The second you make her feel like you're a threat to her life, she'll cut you off faster than you can blink. That I love you, she whispers? It's just her filling some empty, lonely hole inside herself. She's just using you for a quick fix. You really think she'd ditch a home she's built for years, for you? Come on. So wake up already. Play whatever games you want, just don't play yourself into a ditch. Got it?
This video hits you right in the gut from the start. That line, "A married person's heartbreak is like a cold during the pandemic," sounds simple, but it drags you straight into that sneaky, suffocating feeling, you know, the kind you hide and just tough out alone. She's talking about this guy who falls for a woman with a family. He thought he'd just mess around, but ends up sinking deep into the mess. Honestly, you hear it and feel exhausted for him. She lays it out so real, the late nights staring at the ceiling, overthinking everything, buying into her. "I'll leave when the kid's older." Nonsense, only to realize she's not lifting a finger to make it happen. Haven't a ton of people slammed into that same wall? When she drops the truth, it's brutal. She says this guy's just a little side toy for her marriage, gets sweet-talked by her, then she heads home to play nice with the real family. It's uncomfortable to hear, but damn if she isn't spot on. That line, "How could she toss away a home she's built for years just for you?" It's like a slap to snap you out of your daydreams. And then she wraps it up with, "Play whatever game you want, just don't play yourself into a hole." It feels like advice, but also like she's smacking someone upside the head, leaves a real sting. The video's short, but it packs a punch. It's blunt, kinda harsh, like a friend splashing cold water in your face mid-rant. You're left feeling a bit heavy, but also sharper, more awake. If she'd thrown in a little more on how to climb out of that pit, it'd be golden. But still, you're hooked wondering what she'll hit you with next.